Patch 15 is here. We got 30 minutes until it goes live. I'm just waiting right now. If you're watching this, I'm probably live on Twitch right now. You can go hop on over to twitch.tv/FrozenFrost, and hopefully we've gotten in by now. Quick patch notes, just to run over all of them. Factory's been expanded. It has an outdoor area now, which I think lends a lot of credence to, I saw some theories from a couple different people, but I know Airwing pointed out in one of their older videos, and I think he's right, that we might be seeing a day-night cycle actively being added to Factory in this patch. There's less dead ends. I highlighted it here because I could never find it. All right, that's not the one. Fuck. Added several new crosswalks at dead-end locations, so I guess there's like more continuity. There's always going to be a place to move in Factory. At least that's the intention in design. That's what I'm taking from that. I don't know if that's true or not. Partisans here. We got PMC Karma. This is our first iteration of it. We've been talking about it for years now. It's finally here. We don't super know what it does, although without getting into him too much, he's going to be setting traps, throwing grenades. It looks like he stalks you. He does a lot, I think, and we'll have to wait and see, but he does a lot of what I thought Sturman was going to do when they announced him years back. Since, you know, obviously Partisans are much more of a trap guy. The Scav Karma, I'm gonna skip this for a second. Where was it? I saw it a second ago. Karma, where are you at? Karma. Oh, they just so the Karma exists. they say somewhere there's a distinctive sound with Karma. It might be in here. X alone. Regardless of their Karma. Partisan stealthily approaches people. X alone. Where was it? Wow. Karma. Sound. Oh, we don't need to get down to the comments. Sound system performance, active adjustments to the headsets. Right, that's going to be sick. All the headsets have been revamped. Apparently, they've been recording with the actual IRL versions of the headsets. And so they should all have a distinct kind of mixing quality to them. I couldn't find it here. Maybe it was on the Twitter version of this, but apparently there might be a distinctive sound effect when your Karma is decreasing. So you might actually kind of start being able to work out what is quote unquote good and bad. Marathon's in. Map to map travel is in as of 15.0. You can only travel between maps after 7 minutes has passed in. I don't know if multiple people can. Rather, so I know multiple people can. I don't know if someone has left, if another group will be able to after them. During the transit, the player will be asked to transfer some of the items from the raid to their stash for a certain price. I don't know if that's going to be outside of your pockets that you have to bring in. We might, along with the BTR, it looks like they're adding a lot more reason for people to bring like reasonable sums of money in with them. So I'm assuming this might be out of pocket, but it would be all, I would be super cool with that being from our main stash inventory money. Yeah, you can't transit until 7 minutes has started. I think that's useful because people are going to really try and speed run the marathon achievement. You can transit from map to map across, I guess, all of them. So I'm assuming marathon is visiting, yeah, added the marathon achievement for visiting every location in one raid. Playing every map without dying. Tripwires, they switched up the hotkeys. I think it's V for this now. B for this. While holding a grenade. V is something else. Because I know that, yeah, mounting. That's right, bipods. We're just going to skip over this. But yeah, tripwires are here. They seem fine. They deactivate themselves. They take a bit to set up. And you cannot, you can't find them in raid, right? You have to do a task to get them. And then you'll be able to buy them. They're probably going to be limited in the amount you can purchase at once. So I imagine this is going to be, this might not stay in. I don't know. I imagine the reason this is this way is they want to see how much tripwires get abused. Tripwires are placeable on all surfaces as long as it is flat or slightly inclined. And I think that means we're going to find some really creative places to put them. That said, because it says a certain amount of time, depending on what kind it is, this might actually disincentivize certain types of ratting. D2 is going to be hell for a bit. Just be wary. Maybe carry a multi-tool, because apparently having a multi-tool in your inventory is going to speed up your disarm time if you want to try and creep your way into rooms that have them. But even as a delay mechanism, I think they work a trick. There's certain lengths you can run. I actually know one door. It's the door, you know, the one, the D2 camp door. If you run the grenade into the next door, because it looks like there's different lengths, so a minimum and maximum length, you can put the grenade farther away in the direction the PMC would likely travel there. And I think that would be like the ideal spot because it's harder to disarm. But even if it just slows them down, that'll let you get like an impact in on the door or a grenade launcher, etc. So yeah, D2 is going to be bad. Just be ready for that. Prepare yourself emotionally. You'll get into that. I don't think these are going to be a huge deal. There are no 0-second fuses, it looks like. I wish there was, because I would definitely want to keep a 0-second fuse grenade on my person, so someone could just accidentally blow themselves up if they try and steal my grenades. Bipods are in, along with weapon mounting. So even without bipods, you can mount your weapon now with V. And you can rest it on like windows, flat surfaces, sandbags, etc. It's going to reduce your recoil, and it's going to reduce your general sway and stamina consumption. If you have a bipod, it will reduce it even further, Control V being the way to deploy it. Your V key no longer is melee. That is you by default now, which that's going to take some getting used to. I'm never going to use that. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to, if I tap you, it's to bring it out, but it's hard for me to want to get out of moving without like using my pinky on the W key to double tap you to get a quick melee off. Maybe I'll find a way to rebind that to something more useful, or I'll get one of my macro keys that's closer to my my WASD, because you seems like a rough one. And that's kind of it for that. Gear rack zone, you can get mannequins. The more you upgrade, the more mannequins you get. You can equip yourself from the mannequins. This is really nice if you're willing to do a bit of like back-end work to help create a bunch of the same loadout or multiple different loadouts. And I think, no, I don't even think, I remember I saw you can transfer all of your items off of yourself onto the mannequin and vice versa. So if you're running sniping on reserve or something and you got a full-on sniper kit, and your friend wants to go do a ton of fucking CQB on labs or somewhere else, you can just throw all your shit off onto the mannequin, chuck your gun away, and you're clean and ready for a new thing. I think these are great. Fantastic addition. Cultist Circle comes in. You can sacrifice items for items. It's basically, this is I think the closest we got to. This is another version of Tarkov Gotcha. It's like the scav junk box. So you sacrifice items of certain value, and they take the cumulative cost of all of the sacrificed items, and that number, whatever it reaches internally, determines what you get back from cultists. They cannot bring you things while you're in the hideout, so I guess you have to go do a raid. You have to like sacrifice them and then fuck off and then come back. And if a single sacrifice, I don't know what this specifically means here. If it means like a single instance of a sacrifice, as in like a single instance of up to 5 items, or if they mean one single item is above a certain threshold. But in either case, if there's a single sacrifice above a certain threshold, there's a 25% chance that something in your active tasks or unfinished hideout zones will be given to you. This could be big. We'll see. I don't know. It's gambling at the end of the day, but there are certain points in the game where you have like that one fucking item you need. It's the only thing and you just can't find it. This might be a solution to that, at least a way to kind of hedge your bets. I think that's totally fine. Value of sacrificed items is further increased by bonuses from Sacred Amulet, no idea what that is, or your hideout management skill. Players who have the Unheard Edition will have the Cultist Circle immediately. This is PvE stuff. I don't super care about that. I'm not gonna really keep on it, but AI PvE bears will be less hostile to bears. Usex to Usex, but not always, and depending on the map, they may be less or more likely to be hostile. That's kind of it, like that. But I could care less about PvE. That's not my ish unless I'm just casually playing with some homies. New weapons: Uzis, Deagles in both 50 AE and 357, which makes me very happy. I was hoping we get a 357 version. I imagine we'll see the 357 one at a lower barter level than the 50 AE. I want to use both of these. We're going to try and get them as soon as we can. I think that the Deagle, if any gun is going to help make 357 more viable, the Deagle's our current best shot. I would love to see some more stuff for it because it's kind of a forgotten caliber in Tarkov. Yeah, but that's kind of it. SR3M, I don't know a ton about this one, but more 9x39 makes me happy. I hope it does get a decent place in our progression, because the SR wasn't the SR2M, that's the tiny guy. The other one, the kind of like baby Val, you got it around the same time you got the Val anyways, and it really fucked up anyone using it very much unless they were doing it for the meme or like just to use the new gun, because it was ultimately ran about as expensive, if not sometimes more expensive than running a Val, and it just didn't make sense because it was worse. Val, VSS, the Keter, and the Klin have all received weapon updated models. I think that's sick. I think that makes me happy. I use all of these, so that I don't really use the Klin, I guess, but I do use the Keter B, I use the VSS, and I use the Val. Those are my babies. Of course, there's 50 AE for the Deagle, different types of ammo for the Deagle. There's new attachments. We don't know what they are. I don't know. I don't super get this one. Maybe one of y'all can help me with this. Adjusted the functionality for pistol grips on the Makarov PM. If there's a quick drop button on the grip, the interaction anime. Oh, I get it now. I've read this too fast earlier. So it's got a magazine release, I assume is what this means. And so you have different animations if you have a quick drop button. Unless it's from the magazine? I don't know. In any case, you have alternate animations for how you interact with the weapon and manipulate it, depending on which grips you have installed now. AUG has words. The AUG has got a couple updates for animations. Apparently we can see its gas piston now. I know some alternate shoulder animations got optimized as well. I don't know if that's in the same slot. We got some new grenade animations. That's sweet. New types of equipment, armor, helmets, loot, new options for character customization. That makes me fucking straight rock hard, baby. Let's go. Optic zoom adjustment. Smooth zoom is in. This is something I've wanted since we had high power scopes. So many of these can now smoothly adjust zoom between their minimum and maximum, meaning some of these rinky-dink piece of crap scopes that we all ignore and have ignored since the dawn of time, unless tasks forced us to use them, might actually see some viability in casual gameplay. I'm really keen to see some experimentation with this. I'm hoping that in general our long range LPVO / high powered optic market kind of broadens a bit, so we see more preference in how people use it, but also just I want the price of all these to come down. I'm being selfish. I want to use more of these, but like a Burris and a Voodoo, like, you know, but these two are kind of the ones everyone uses. Maybe a Leopold. No one used anything else. Like these are kind of your three, and maybe the Schmidt. Yeah, the Schmidt and Bender you'd also see. Just a pain in the ass to use most of these other ones. So if they all become functionally useful, then it means that the prices across the board are probably going to go up for some of these, but maybe down for these guys, or vice versa. But in general, I would love to see more workable options for high-powered optics. Default hotkeys for smooth adjustment are Alt and scroll up, scroll down. That makes perfect sense. If you hold G, you can pick the grenade you use. That's fantastic. It's something we've wanted for a long time. It's really annoying to just tap G and pull out like the flashbang that you had in for memes. Now you can be a bit more specific and decisive with your grenades. The tactical boys will appreciate that, I'm sure. Flashlight and tactical devices, same thing. I'm imagining it's T. It doesn't say. I think it's an assignable hotkey. You can activate tactical devices or flashlights by pressing or holding a hotkey. Pressing or holding is pretty cool. That means you could hotkey. Ooh, maybe, I don't know implementation here, but it'll allow me to fantasize for a moment. If they took like a number from Ready or Not's book, it could be that each device might have its own key. So maybe you hold T and you can select one to turn on or off. But it could be like, you know, mouse 4, you hold mouse 4, flashlights on, you let go, mouse 4, flashlights off. So if you want to just quickly use your flashlight to gain some situational awareness, you can do that. But otherwise, you're probably just gonna use the regular stuff. I don't know, as most people, this is probably not gonna make a huge difference. For some people, I think it's gonna make a massive difference. So I'm eager to play with this. We'll see what the actual specifics of it are soon. 10 minutes until we're allegedly going in. Let me check. A little peek over here. Game's still down. I did take a look. Manual value entry to in-game settings. Adjusting mouse sensitivity. That's great. Quality of life. Hotkey adjustments. Use melee attack. Some balancing changes on quests. Setup and the long road have been simplified. I imagine the really, really rough wipe of setup, because setup has always been like contentious-ish, but I don't know, this last wipe, just a lot of people, a lot of my friends, a lot of other people I know in the community who've been playing the game, the forums are a hard place to talk about, but there too, everyone's not happy with setup. So it looks like they simplified setup, and long road we might see reduced requirements there, or oh, it's time to wake up. Shut up. I'm trying to make a video. I think that's great. I imagine making these a little bit more tolerable. Long road too. Long road's fine, but making it more accomplishable will be nice if that's what they did here. Because it's also a pain at the end. You're basically just hunting player scavs is how I usually did it. You can't buy class 6 or trade for class 6 ever again, he says, a prophet. Currently there are no more trades for class 6 of any type. You can now only find class 6 in raid. I think that's great. I think that rare things being rare is fucking hot. And the more we make it accessible to players via trade, the more that it kind of pushes a top-down mentality. You know, success breeds success, and making it a thing that, you know, even a little Timmy can stumble onto. Fantastic. Love it. I can shoot him in the face and take it. Ammo on the flea market. Anything with less than 42 pen is allowed on flea with a few exceptions. Sounds hot. 545, 762, and 9x21 have all had a damage increase, while 556 has received a few 556 rounds have received a damage decrease. I hope, they didn't say here, but I hope that this comes with a penetration increase, because 556, I mean, I'm sorry, if 556 is getting a damage debuff after the armor got reworked, so the soft armor isn't the only thing you can like have to punch through now, 556 is gonna really suffer. So I imagine what we're gonna see, and I could be hella wrong here, I imagine this is probably accompanying a 556 pen increase. And these guys, I imagine, are gonna stay roughly the same, maybe a slight increase, like a few tweaks in 545. You might see some increases somewhere, some decreases other places. 762 I think is great where it is. We'll see if they change anything. 9x21, I'm happy. 9x21 gets ignored a lot. The SR2M is great. I fucking love those guns. But they definitely suffer in a lot of ways, so its damage going up is a fantastic thing. Here's a huge one for me and the Drip Boys. If you play Fashion Tarkov, you're gonna love this. Anti-clipping system. Elements of glasses, helmets, masks, collars, and headsets will be correctly displayed in your character with any combination, meaning that, like, if you're wearing a balaclava, you can put on a fleece beanie, and it should no longer have that awful mesh kind of clipping through each other. We'll see if this works across the board, but I imagine along with the new outfits and clothing options they've added in, they worked really hard to make sure that this works. So Fashion Tarkov, huge buff, huge buff this patch. Some animation increases, some animation changes. Trying to just improve sync, optimize left shoulder animations, whatever. some graphic stuff, and then we're switching to summer, I think is around here. Fantastic. Some sound adjustments in general. Here's what I was talking about earlier, the headsets. Weapon sounds are compressed in different channels. They adjusted the frequency response and noise reduction level of everything. So what I take from all of this is the headsets are more and more, they're trying to put them less into this one is objectively better, and there will still be some, like I'm assuming the Comtech 4s are going to be kind of the king still. But more often than not, I think active headsets are going to become a preference thing. Like I still really like my Swordens. I think they're a really good base level. They're great for footsteps. We'll see if that remains true. We're gonna have to play with that today. But I think that this is a step in the right direction, or at least a direction I'm not against. So I'm happy to play around in that. Recorded real active headsets that are used in game, the sound of shooting and environment sounds in them to allow further fine tuning, positioning of sounds, distance awareness, and the sound of in-game active headsets were noticeably improved. So all headsets were also improved. So headset seems to be more of a must as well. All the headsets have their own unique EQ, resulting in a different sound for every headset. Some anti-cheat updates. These are pretty vague, and they should be. They shouldn't really be telling us the specifics of what they're doing here. Apparently, they've added protection against exploits. So the specific decks, protection against a series of exploits related to monitoring loot on players and location using forbidden software. Basically, they're adding protections against the ability for people to tell where good loot is. So you pick up a LEDX, and Hackerson now knows that you have it, and you hear him just running at you from across the entirety of labs. This should curb that. We'll see if it stops it. I can't. It's a forever war in anti-cheat. So good things, but take it in stride. Don't pretend that we're perfectly safe here. And same thing, network sync and unfair movement. I imagine this is trying to prevent things like flight and things like using lag switches or clients to basically change the sync of the client so they can shoot you from around corners before you ever have the chance to see them. Not that that's going to make a big difference to people thinking that's happening anyways, because Peeker's advantage and a lot of other stuff. But all in all, good things like that. General bugs, couple display bugs, and that's about it. The overall, this looks going to be fun. Not a huge patch, but in a very subtle way. I'm excited to see a lot of the new toys. Overall, yeah, have fun, play around with it. We'll see what we can get into. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be live by the time this goes up. The game it's scheduled to be back up in 4 minutes from time of recording. So pop on by, and we'll see you there for some day one Tarkov experience. Peace out, guys.